Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Malcolm McCauley with C5 Insight, and I'm excited to bring you part one of a two-part series on forms processing, a fabulous tool within Microsoft's AI Builder. Forms processing uses machine learning models to recognize data from forms, and after doing so, it can take action on that data in various ways. To highlight this example, we wanted to show you a neat use case scenario that recently came up in discussion with one of our customers that does a great job of illustrating the power of what this tool can do. So as you can see, we've got our Hydro bills. Now I'm using a demo environment here for the purposes of this video, just to show you what it can do. And what we've got here is a document library in our modern SharePoint. And we've got a Hydro bills library that is storing all of our Hydro bills that we get. So when we receive a new bill, we go ahead and pay that, and then we upload that bill into our document library, and it's there so that we have reference to it. And at current, what we have to do with this is, in order to put all of this metadata on here, we have to actually open the bill up and derive that data from the bill manually, transcribing that data into the metadata. The metadata, of course, is important because it can allow us to filter these bills, see the information at a glance, as opposed to having to open it up every single time. So right now it looks like this. We have to open up our bill. Now this is just a pretend bill that we've created for the purposes of this. And you can see I can open up our metadata fields from our SharePoint list, and I can come in here and find the information. So the title would be the demo company, and perhaps I want that with the bill date. So we put 20 of January 2021 and the bill date and so on. So you can see we'd have to transcribe all of this manually. And as we do so, as we save that, it's going to show up as metadata on the document library. So what we see once all of that data has been entered is something like this. Now, that process of manually transcribing that data obviously takes some time. So this is a perfect use case for how forms processing can work, because what forms processing allows us to do is grab all of that data off of the bill when it gets uploaded, and we can actually take that data and then put it on here. So this is a two-part series, as I mentioned. The first part, we're going to show you how to train that model. In the second one, once the forms processing model has been trained, we're actually going to show you how to leverage Power Automate to grab that data and append this metadata and this document library with all that information. So let's dive in. We're going to move over to Power Apps, and inside of Power Apps, we're going to go to the AI Builder, and we're going to go ahead and click Build. Now within here, you can see we've got all kinds of options, and the one right in the middle is forms processing. That's what we're going to focus on today. But you can see there's tons that you can do with AI Builder. It's a really powerful tool inside of the tool set, but today we're going to focus specifically on forms processing. You can see up at the top, I'm in a trial. We're going to put a link in the description of the video where you can get information on the licensing. This, of course, is a trial. We have some limitations in capacity that we have here. With the normal licensing, you can buy the capacity that you need, and they do a great job at providing information on even a calculator, actually, to show you how many licenses you're going to need based on what you anticipate using. And of course, you can add things, licenses over time. So we're going to start with clicking the forms processing item, and it's going to open up this little forms processing dialog, or wizard, if you will. We're going to name this model. So I'm going to call this Hydro bills, capitalize that. And you can see you're going to need 5 documents with the same layout. So we've created, just as you saw in that sample document I showed you, we've created 5 different documents. They are laid out exactly the same. You do have the ability to train multiple different layouts in one model, but for today's purpose, we're going to keep it super simple. We're just showing you how to take the one sort of set bill in its current structure and bring it in. So we're going to go ahead and create that model. So now we need to choose the information to extract, and we're just going to create different fields. You see we've got a couple different options here. So on our bill, if you remember what it looked like, we had 4 different elements of data. We had a bill date, we had a name or a title, we had the usage, we also had the bill amount, and then we actually had a checkbox as well, which was whether the usage was within the limit or not. So we're going to create all 5 of those. So I'm going to go ahead and create them one by one here. All right, we've created our different fields. We've got bill date, usage, bill amount, company, and within usage limit. And you can see we've got field, 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 and checkbox. You may have noticed that when we click this, there's a single page table. If you think of a bill that you might get or an invoice you might get that has line items, you can actually use the table to understand the different columns that are in that table and pull the data from specific line items, which is really, really cool. So now we're ready to move on here. We're going to go ahead and click next. And we're now going to create collections. So again, as I mentioned, you can have multiple collections within the model. So multiple collections might be if you were expanding this outside of just hydro bills, which are always going to look the same. Maybe we want to do all utility bills, and you get different bill structures from different billing companies, right? Your hydro might look like one way, your water bill might look a little bit different, your I was going to say electricity, which is hydro, your heat, perhaps your gas bill might look a little bit different. So you can structure different layouts within one model. For the purposes of this, we're going to do one collection. So new collection, and we're going to go ahead and add collection documents. So we've got the option here. Now again, you need to add 5 or more. Machine learning, as you probably know, the more data you give it, the more likely it is to learn. Now, we're giving this a very simplistic thing to learn today. It's a very simple mapping. If we had a more complex one, we might want to upload more documents. The more the better in terms of machine learning, and it will continue to learn over time and evolve. So we're going to go ahead and say add documents. Now we've got some documents on our local storage on my computer. I'm going to pull those up in a minute, but you can see we also have options for data that's living in a SharePoint list or in a Azure storage blob. So we've got different options there. I'm going to go ahead and upload from here, and here's our 5 bills right here. I'm going to go ahead and upload those. I'm going to open them, and it's going to upload all these documents. So it's showing me the preview here, the different sizes. I'm going to upload them all. That's going to take a moment. All of our documents are successfully uploaded. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now when we click next to move on from this, we're actually going to have the ability to do the model training ourselves. So we're actually going to help the model learn where to find the right data. So we're going to do a combination of taking those fields that we created earlier and the actual bill, and we're going to show it where each piece of information is found. So for starters, we got bill date. We see that right here. I'm just going to draw a box around this date, and then it's going to pop up and say which date or which item is this. I know it's bill date. So we're going to say usage is next. So we see our usage is right here. Now, I don't like that one. I'm going to actually click outside of that. I'm going to recreate that, make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to say that's our usage amount. Here's our billing amount. Here's our company. Now you may or may not need company. I mean, you know it's your own company in this case. We're doing this just for the purposes of illustrating the example. And then we have a checkbox right here. So watch this. When we highlight our checkbox, we highlight our checkbox, it actually comes up and identifies that as a checkbox and says it's within usage limit, which is the field. So there's number 1. You can see we've got to do each of the 5 items. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now, what's interesting here, what we found is when I click next, it's automatically identified these items already. It already knows that these are the different things because it's learning as I'm training it, which is really fantastic. Okay, we've now trained all 5 fields on each of our 5 documents. I'm going to go ahead and click next, and it's now going to save that. And you can see it's giving us a bit of a summary. We've uploaded 5 documents. Here are the different fields. We've got checkboxes. I'm going to go ahead and train the model. Now this is going to take a minute because of the power and magic of video. We're going to fast forward through that. But as soon as I click train, I'm going to leave it up for a quick second. You'll see the model has started to train, and now the model has completed. So it didn't take very long. I left it only for about 1.5 minutes, maybe not even. And so we're going to go ahead and go to the models. Now, so here's our list of the different models. You can see we've done a couple of demos. We've got our hydro bills that we've started the training on. Now you can see over on the right, it's training currently. So in order to see if this has completed, we would refresh the page. It's going to continue to train until it's done. We're going to use the magic of video, and we're going to stop right here until it's ready. Okay, we've refreshed our page. Our model is now completely trained, so it's ready to go. So what that means is it's gone ahead and taken the information and the training that we gave it, and it's kind of reiterated that to itself so that it ingrains its process and its model in itself and continues to learn over time, but it's got the basis of where those pieces of information are that we're calling in each one. I'm going to go ahead and click hydro bills to open this model up just to show you what it looks like. I want to call out a really important piece, and that is to publish your model when you're done. That model will not be available until it is published, so you want to publish that model. Now, quick step before that though, you can see there's a quick test. So let's do that. We're going to grab a document that's on our device. So I'm going to grab number 2 this time. It's going to grab that invoice or that bill, and it's going to analyze it, and you will see it's actually going to pull the data out based on the training we gave it. And here you go. You can see it's got the company field has been populated with the demo company, the bill amount, the checkbox, the total usage, and the bill date. You'll notice that it's got confidence score, so 99%, that's very, very high. It's very confident that it's grabbing the right data and using the right training that we provided to find the right information. We can close that. We'll go ahead and publish our model. It's publishing, and as soon as it's completed publishing, it's now ready for use. And so we're now going to stop this video, and in part 2, you're going to see us leverage that data using Power Automate, where we can actually go back to our list here and we can upload a document, and we're going to tell Power Automate to grab that document, give it to the forms processing model, have that output from that model, then append the data into the metadata fields or the columns here on our list. So really, really cool. Hopefully you stay tuned for that video. It's coming in the near future, and we hope you enjoyed watching this one. Have a great day.